Hello, beautiful people. Today is 10th of August. My name is Sahil and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today in GS Fodder, we'll take a quote from the Angus Deaton, who is a British American economist. He also received the Nobel Prize into the Economic Sciences in 2015, and his writings are predominantly focused on poverty, inequality, hunger, etc. And in one of his writing, he says that economic growth is the engine of the escape from poverty and material deprivation. Now, guys, in certain quarters, it is said that in order to make the poverty alleviation schemes successful, we need the proper distribution or proper appropriation of resources should be there. But friends, whatever noble intentions may be there, whatever perfect distribution strategy may be there, if there will be no high economic growth, then there will simply be no resources to distribute. So therefore, the prerequisite is the high economic growth. Guys, this particular dimension we can use into our GS paper number 3, where the economic development has been mentioned, as well as we can also use it into the paper on essay. So that's it about GS Fodder, and let's now take the newspaper analysis. Now starting up, first let's take the newspaper overview of the entire paper. Now guys, here we can see that the defense ministry has imposed an import embargo on certain items. So in this particular respect, we'll see the issues which has been taken up. Then guys, here you can see that into the sad event, yet another COVID facility caught fire into the Vijayawada, and this is particularly very sad incident. Then guys, moving forward, we can see that here a very good example of compassion and empathy has been given. So into the Karnataka, there was the flooding, and on one of the trees certain monkeys were trapped, and they have been rescued by a very prolonged rescue effort. So guys, basically it is said that the moral development of a nation is seen by the way the animal of that particular country is treated. So in that particular direction, this is a very good example by the Karnataka state. Then guys, here some issues with respect to the privacy policy of Facebook has been mentioned. So we'll see certain important concepts here. Then guys, moving forward, other news are with respect to the COVID, etc., not important for our exam. Now guys, here you can see that 77 new butterfly species have been found. Now guys, they are so many that you can't simply remember their name or their IUCN status. So in such capacity, you not need to go before the names of the butterfly. But one thing is important, that the identification of them is published into the research paper published by the Bombay Natural History Society. Now it is one of the oldest non-governmental organization which is working for the conservation as well as into the field of the biodiversity research. So please keep the name of BNHS into your mind. Even the question has been asked. Then guys, coming to the editorial section, this particular editorial talks about the Indo-US ties. Certain options has been given where the India can explore. Some good points have been given. We'll be seeing this thing. Now guys, this article talks about the safety deficit. The Kozhikode airplane crash has been mentioned, but from past 2 days extensively we had discussed all the dimensions of this particular article, including the way forward. Then guys, this particular article talk about the approach that is needed into the case of landslides, particularly into the Kerala. So certain reports have been mentioned. We'll be seeing this thing. Now guys, this particular article is again the repetition of the event which occurred in 1945, that is the nuclear attack onto the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it calls that now it is time that we should remember it and we should take a pledge that such things should not happen into the past. But guys, all these things we had already discussed on to the 6th of August at this particular timestamp. If you want, you can refer to this. Then guys, moving forward, this particular article talks about how bodily integrity is in question due to the surveillance techniques which are being imposed by the government. So some good insights have been given. We'll be seeing this thing. Now guys, this particular article gives enough of data with respect to the COVID-19 deaths, but guys, all these data will become old in just one day. So you don't need to make any pattern on such kind of data. It says that how the number of deaths will be low simply because the certificates of COVID-19 are not being given. Guys, substance with respect to the UPSC has not been there. Now, guys, this particular article on Monday comes on to the fine intricacies of journalism, usually not that much important. Then, guys, moving forward. So, here we can see that the temple art of Telangana has been mentioned. So, guys, some good things have been mentioned here. We'll be seeing this thing. Then, moving forward, infra scheme has been launched. So, we'll see what has happened. Then, guys, here the Indus water treaty has been mentioned. So, some disputes have came up. So, we'll see that what is going on. Then, guys, the development plan with respect to the Andaman Nicobar island has been given. We'll see what development plan are going on. Then, guys, this education plus not important for our exam. So on world page we can see that Loya Jirga has approved the prisoner release in Afghanistan. So we'll see that what is happening here. Then, guys, other news with respect to the protest etc. not important. The Mahinda Rajapaksa has now been sworn as Sri Lankan Prime Minister. We had followed that he won the election and SLPP came into the power. Then, guys, money wise not important for our exam. It comes every Monday. Then the sports page also nothing important for the exam has been given. So that's it, guys, and now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, friends, starting up, here we can see that the Ministry of Defense is taking certain steps in order to promote the indigenous manufacturing of the defense equipments, and in that particular direction, an import embargo on 101 items have been placed. Import embargo means that 101 items will not be imported, rather their procurement will be done from the domestic manufacturing industries. Guys, into the past couple of months, government has pushed forward with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, where the capabilities of our indigenous sector is to be built. And under the direction of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, few days back on 3rd of August, we have also seen that government released the draft Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy 2020. Now, according to this particular policy, government said that the manufacturing turnover of Indian defense sector needs to be enhanced up to $25 billion or 1,75,000 crore rupees by 2025. And a part of such manufacturing will also be exported, and by 2025 export worth $5 billion of defense equipments will also be made. Now, guys, in order to further promote the indigenous defense manufacturing, the Ministry of Defense has decided that 101 items will not be imported from the foreign defense suppliers, rather they will be procured from the indigenous defense manufacturers. Now, into that particular direction, they can use the technologies which they have developed in house, or they can also use the technologies perfected by the DRDO. And, guys, these 101 items, they don't only include some basic items, rather it also includes high tech weaponry such as the armored fighting vehicles, assault rifles, sonar systems, radar systems, and various other components. So by this particular way, we are now actually focusing the Atmanirbharta into the defense sector. And it has been said that within next 6 to 7 years, the contract worth rupees 6 to 7 lakh crore rupees will be given to the domestic industry. Further, government's Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is also going into the other government procurements also, because, guys, just recently government said that all the contracts whose limit is more than 200 crore rupees, they have to be given to the domestic providers. So foreign contract limit has been capped up to rupees 200 crore rupees. And it has been said that by into this particular year only, the items worth rupees 52,000 crore rupees will be procured by the domestic manufacturers or the domestic producers. So in all new dimensions, the demand is being given to the domestic manufacturers, so that they can capitalize on that demand, they can expand their manufacturing capabilities, can rope up better technology, better resource, and can not only meet the India's demand into the times to come, but can also become the global service providers and goods providers. So the intentions of the scheme are good, but into the times to come, we need to see that how successful its implementation is going to be. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, this particular news item carries some food for the thought with respect to the role of the internet giants such as Facebook in our day-to-day life. See, recently an incident occurred where some people lifted the photographs of a girl from the social media site, that is Instagram, and posted those photos onto the pornographic sites. Into that particular respect, the girl moved a petition into the court and asked that such photos should be deleted. Now, listening into this particular matter, Delhi High Court said that the Facebook should also owe the responsibility into this matter, as it owns the Instagram, and it is the responsibility of the Facebook to ensure that somebody's sensitive information is not being stolen illegally and being posted at some undesirable places. Now guys, into this entire matter, one particular dimension is coming, because when the girl filed the petition, it didn't ask the relief against the Facebook, or didn't ask that Facebook should be reprimanded. However, on its own initiative, Delhi High Court had said that Facebook should also owe the responsibility. Now, because of this particular thing, two dimensions get developed. First of all, judiciary says that since the social media giants have so much influence into the society, into so many countries, they should owe the moral responsibility as well as the legal responsibility to see that some undesired behavior doesn't happen. However, on the other hand, it is being said that the giants such as Facebook, they operate in more than 150 countries, and they can't just act as a global police to enforce the rule of justice on such large audience. Moreover, if Facebook starts to control everybody's data or everybody's content, then it will turn into a monitor, and the freedom of speech and expression will not be able to be practiced onto such social media platforms for which they were originally meant. So friends, these are the neo age challenges which are coming into the wake of our migration onto the social media and internet. On one hand, there is a genuine case that responsibility should be given and they should owe the responsibility, whereas on another hand, even for owing the responsibility, there are certain concerns, as well as even logistically and technologically it is not possible to owe such big mandate. So guys, just as a kind of opinion, please keep it into your mind. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. So now friends, we are into the editorial section, and this editorial talks about the new dimension of India-US ties, and the article has been written by Subramaniam Swamy, who is a chief economist and a political leader. Now, guys, this article starts on to the note that USA has always been very considerate to India since the past, and it is only now that the relations are going into sub up and down trajectory. Certain examples have been given. For example, in 1940s, USA under the presidentship of Franklin D. Roosevelt made a compassionate appeal to Britain that India's freedom should be granted and India should be made an independent ally into the World War II. But at that point of time, Britain denied the USA's request, and however, anyhow, in 1947, on our own, we gained the independence. But USA pressed for it. After that, guys, towards 1950s, USA also floated a proposal that into the United Nations Security Council, the permanent seat should be given to India in place of China. China should be uprooted. That particular thing was conveyed to the Nehru also. But India, under the leadership of Nehru, was being driven by the political idealism and said that in order to gain the UNSC seat, uprooting China is not politically moral, and pressed that India will not be taking China's stand, and rather appealed that USA should invite China and should treat it with the due respect. It talked about China's sentiments. Now, guys, even USA resisted that particular attempt till 1972, but after that, USA also agreed to give a place to the China. But we also know that in return, what China did with India, how China paid back to the Nehru's generosity. But USA has been considerate. Now, guys, the dimensions between the USA and India started to change after 1953 in particular, because this was the time when India started to register its clear inclination towards the USSR and China. And you know that both of these countries were belonging to the communist camp, whereas USA was belonging to the capitalist camp. And therefore, USA also started to be critical of India. And in response, USA supported Pakistan as a counterbalance and provided the seat to Pakistan into the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization and also into the CENTO, that is a Central Treaty Organization. And Pakistan received considerable aid from the USA, and by using that aid, Pakistan went to war with India in 1965, in 1971, and 1999. And we know that though India managed to win the war, but there was huge damage which was incurred by Pakistan. By whom? By the USA's aid. So both the examples we had seen that USA was in favor, but there were time also when USA resisted. Now, guys, into the present crisis, USA holds the great relevance, and USA's notion of helping is on quid pro quo basis. You do me one favor, I will also do you some favors. And this particular thing we can see from an example of 1991. So, guys, you know that this was the time when India was facing the balance of payment crisis. We were in a dire need of foreign exchange reserve. India was approaching the International Monetary Fund, but India's voting power is very much limited in IMF fund, and therefore India's capacity to draw fund from IMF was also limited. And at that point of time, a suggestion was made that India should approach via USA because of USA's huge clout in IMF. Then a quid pro quo arrangement was made. India said that India will agree to USA's appeal that the USA's plane should be allowed to refuel when they will fly from Philippines to the Saudi Arabia, because this was also the time when the war into the Gulf was going on. So India helped, and in reciprocation, India also got the funding by which India averted the BOP crisis. So therefore, it has been said that into the present time also, we need USA's help, and USA's help will be needed in reciprocation. So therefore, guys, we need to identify where we can help USA and where USA can help India. Now, with respect to the USA's role, certain roles have been envisaged where USA can play a constructive role. Number one, it has been said that as the situation at LAC is becoming bad, India can use military hardware provided by USA for mitigating the crisis at the LAC. Now, guys, obviously, it is contrary to what India is planning under the Defense Production Procurement Policy 2020. India is saying that we should be going for the self-reliance, and here into the article, it has been suggested that we should import from the USA. So, guys, that could be a kind of a divergence here, but still, anyhow, from the article, we'll see what has been given. After that, it has also been said that USA's help is also needed to fight the enemy in Afghanistan, because as now the troops are pulling back from there, so stabilizing Afghanistan also is a very important task. Then thirdly, it has been said that USA also is needed along with its allies, that is Israel, because both of the countries have developed huge capabilities into the cyber warfare and the things such as the satellite mapping of India and China, then the new age terror activities which are coming through the cyber networks. All these things are to be contained, and in that direction the help from the US as well as Israel is needed. Then the third thing is that we also need the USA's help in the development of Andaman and Nicobar Island as well as Lakshadweep, because these two are the extended arms of India, and if successfully they are harnessed, they could be made into the naval and air base. So USA's funding and USA's technology could be used, and in return USA can be given some rights over here. Then further into the technology, it has been said that for the thorium utilization to make us nuclear capable, as well as for the desalinization and hydrogen fuel cell, we need the American technologies. Rather, it is not the need of an hour that we should allow USA to open the educational campuses in India, as said by the new education policy. We need the cooperation into this particular area because they are more urgent matters. After that, it has been said that USA should also allow the agricultural exports from India, particularly the Bose Indicus milk, because it is in high demand in USA. So therefore, in order to increase our export competence also, the USA is needed. Then guys, further, two areas have been described which are non-amenable and India can't give any leverage to USA. We have talked that reciprocation will be there, but here reciprocation will not be existing. First of all, there can be no free flow of the FDI because we will be allowing the FDIs which is in India's national interest. After that, there should be no USA's interference into the economic policy of India. India will carry its economic policy with the other countries onto the basis of the merit. So, guys, these are the areas which are needed to be put into the new paradigm of the US and India relation. Further, guys, there is one more mark of caution. See, into the past years, it has been seen that whenever the leadership in one country changes, some changes into the relation also comes. So, with the going of the Xi Jinping and coming of new leadership, there could be a change into the India-China relation. So, therefore, for that particular sake, India will not be interfering into the matter of Tibet, Hong Kong, as well as the Taiwan. So, because for all the times, even in for the future, India don't want to set a bad precedence with the China also. So, friends, this is the new direction of relation which has been suggested by the article. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Guys, this particular article talks about the recent landslides that occurred into the Idukki in Kerala. Now, guys, with the advent of a monsoon, there happens to be the certain region which will receive immense rainfall, and owing to the topography, owing to the river distribution, the situation becomes even grim. We had seen just few days back that there were intense flooding into the Assam due to the rain as well as due to the overflowing of the river, which was further facilitated by the topography and other factors. Now, however, coming back to the Kerala. So, earlier it was seen that the intensity of rain for the Kerala was reduced, and it was being said that Kerala might receive less rains into this particular year. But suddenly, the outpour of rain became so intense that certain of the districts received 3 to 4 times more rain than what they normally receive. And then there was the heavy flooding, and such a flooding also led to the landslide into the Idukki, which we had seen, and so many people have lost their life. Now, guys, every year the Kerala is seeing such kind of repeated events. In 2018, there was a massive flooding. Then in 2019, also there was such kind of situation, and again in 2020 we have seen the landslide which was caused majorly due to the flooding and intense rains. Now, guys, according to the Geological Survey of India, between 1961 to 2013, Kerala had registered 67 major landslides, and there are hundreds of minor landslides which have been there. And particularly, the Western Ghat as a whole is hugely susceptible to the landslides. Now, with respect to the landslides, there is the National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program, and this program has made extensive surveys into the Western Ghats, Northeast, Jammu and Kashmir, as well as Uttarakhand. And into the susceptibility mapping of Kerala, it has been said that 13 districts out of 14 they are susceptible to the landslide. And guys, the problem for Kerala is even more because of the high population density there is in Kerala. According to stats, 800 people per square kilometer is the density of a population, and therefore the problem becomes even more worse, because we had seen that when the hazard will meet the vulnerability, it will turn into the disaster. So, guys, therefore, for effective disaster management, there is a need to take some steps. Now, it has been said into the article that it was assumed that the data which has been provided by the National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program, that data will be used into the Kerala for the zoning laws. Now, you might have heard that with respect to the earthquake, the zoning is done. That is the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, onto the basis of the earthquake proneness which is there. But still now, with respect to the landslide zonation, nothing has been done, no implementation is there, and even the quarrying activities and unscientific slope cutting is going on. And we know that due to this thing, there happens an immense soil erosion, and such soil erosion results into the huge number of the landslides. So therefore, every year such kind of problem is being registered, but there has been weak action onto the part of state, and this problem is not only into the Kerala, rather all the areas which have been surveyed by NLSM, there are the susceptibility, but none of the state are taking the actions. So it is high time that first of all the zonation laws should be taken more seriously. After that, there should be the enhanced allocation of funds to the state's disaster management agencies. And after that, there is a need that the preparedness plan and the mitigation plan should be made and should be enforced in all the states which have the landslide susceptibility. So guys, these all things have been provided into this article, and therefore urgent implementation as well as a drawing of plan is needed. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about certain implication onto the bodily integrity as well as privacy which might come with the pandemic. So, it has been said that government into the present time is using large number of contact tracing apps, drones, technology, and the reason for that thing is to identify all the infectious people so that pandemic can be contained. But guys, such kind of technologies are not only helping, rather they had also led to a kind of an intrusion into the people's life. And due to such intrusion, there is loosening of privacy, dignity, as well as bodily integrity. See, it has been said that even before such kind of thing comes, people felt a kind of an unwarranted glaze even by the CCTV cameras, and it was said that some kind of monitors were being kept onto the people's movement, though that thing was good. But now what has come is that surveillance had reached even to the house of the people, and government is now even trying to control the movement of people and are installing the bodily monitors on them, and all these thing is being done into the name of pandemic, so even people are not resisting it. Now example has been given here about the Karnataka's quarantine watch app, where people are asked that they need to send hourly selfies along with their GPS coordinate so that officers can get an assurance that they are following all the orders. Now it has been said that such an area, what a person is doing into his private sphere, was never a matter that has to be shared with some public agency, but now it is being done, and it is leading to a huge psychological stress into the people. And there have been reports that even some people in Hyderabad has condemned such kind of surveillance as something torture. Now guys, it is not the unease or the losing of our control of our own bodily integrity is being talked about, rather there are implications of the misuse of such data when it will fall into the wrong hand. And it has been said that in such case, the misuse will bring even dire consequences for those people who don't share the dominant view. The people such as transgenders, bisexuals, LGBT community, they will be facing even more problem when such sensitive information will be shared into the public domain. And at the same time, it is also a fact that the data protection legislation have not been still there, and still the legislative framework is missing there. And guys, as we say that the data is the new oil or data is the new currency, it is high time that the data preservation and data security laws should also follow into the sync in which the data is being collected. So friends, it has an important implication onto the privacy concerns, and a large number of issues on this lines have came, so there could be an expected question on this line also. That's it. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, here it has been provided that the new secretariat building of the Telangana state which is to be built, it will be inspired from the temple art of the state, and various temples will be used as an inspiration. And these temples are the Nilkanteshwara temple, Hanuman temple, as well as the thousand pillar temple. Now guys, the most important temple here is the thousand pillar temple from the architectural point of view. Now, guys, this thousand pillar temple was built by the ruler of the Kakatiya dynasty, Rudra Deva. And because of this, this temple is also called as the Rudreshwara temple. And the style of architecture which has been used is the Kakatiya style of architecture, and it is a sub-genre under the Vesher style of architecture, which was made by the amalgamation of the Nagada style as well as by the Dravidian style. Further, guys, star shaped shrine within this temple is the major attraction with respect to the architecture. And due to its cultural richness, that this thousand pillar temple has also been included into the tentative list of the World Heritage Sites, which was declared by the UNESCO. Moreover, guys, Kakatiya rulers also contributed in temple architecture by building the temples into the upper parts of the Deccan Plateau. Earlier, they were more concentrated towards the lowlands. So, guys, this was all about this particular news. However, if you are particularly preparing for the state specific civil examinations, and if you belong to either Andhra Pradesh or Telangana or Karnataka, then please a little bit see other temples also. However, for UPSC, please keep in mind the thousand pillar temple. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here we can see certain initiatives which has been launched by the Prime Minister with respect to the farm infrastructure as well as for the development of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, guys, these are two separate developments, but overall will be bringing the economic growth for the country as a whole. First of all, rupees 1 lakh crore agricultural infrastructure fund has been released, and by the help of this particular fund, the storage and processing facilities around the farm gate into the villages will be made so that farmers can store their harvest and can sell them when the favorable price is offered. Moreover, in India, we see that a huge wastage is there into the agricultural products, and such wastage will also be avoided when the warehouses for the storage will be made. Moreover, guys, into the food processing, India is also looking forward. So with respect to the food processing, such kind of infrastructure will be a way forward. Moreover, this fund will be giving the support to the farmer producer organizations, agricultural entrepreneurs, and the primary agricultural credit societies. Moreover, apart from this, the installment of the PM Kisan has also been released. Now, guys, we'll talk little bit about the PM Kisan. So, this particular scheme was started in 2019, and under this thing, it is 100% central sector scheme. It means the entire money comes from the central sector, and every farmer is given a 6,000 rupees cash transfer into three equal installments. Now, guys, this particular scheme is to supplement the income of the small and marginal farmers so that they can get a sustainable livelihood. So this is one thing. The implementation or identification of beneficiary though rest with the state government. After that, guys, into other development, the Prime Minister has also unveiled the vision with respect to the Andaman and Nicobar Island. So what happened? It was the inauguration of the laying of the optical fiber cable network line between the Chennai and Andaman and Nicobar Island. And because of this line, the Andaman and Nicobar will become virtually independent, because earlier, because of weak connectivity, it was still dependent onto the mainland India. Moreover, not only this, has also been said that the high impact projects will be started into the Andaman and Nicobar Island, which will bring the economic growth, human resource growth, and other developmental parameters. It will also be helping on. Guys, educational facilities such as law colleges, medical colleges, etc., will be started into the region. Moreover, due to its proximity into the sea, it has also been said that it will be developed as a maritime hub as well as the startup hub for the industries who are associated into particularly the trade of sea-based organic products, coconut products, etc. And guys, as we have talked already, that India is looking forward into the vision of the blue economy. So there also the Andaman and Nicobar island holds the great importance. So guys, all these things are there. Now, just as a reference with respect to the government's developmental plan, these things could be utilized. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the Indus Water Treaty. So, onto the Indus Water Treaty, some pending issues are going on between the India and Pakistan, for which Pakistan called for a physical meeting. However, India said that only virtual meeting is possible due to the pandemic. Now, guys, talking a little bit into the background. So, Indus Water Treaty regulates the water sharing agreement between India and Pakistan over the Indus River and its tributaries. So it was signed in 1960 between the Jawaharlal Nehru and Ayub Khan from Pakistan. So this treaty divides the six rivers in two parts. One are the eastern river and other are the western rivers. So eastern rivers, that is the Byas, Ravi and Satluj, are given to India, whereas the rivers of Indus, Chenab and Jhelum are given to the Pakistan. Moreover, it has also been said that India has a right that even onto the western rivers, India can make certain run-off river project as well as can make other multi-purpose project dam which are for non-consumptive purposes. Water flow should not be impeded. India should not consume the water, but hydroelectric plants can be made. Now, guys, moreover, there is also a provision that there will be the Indus Water Commissioners, and these Indus Water Commissioners will be resolving if any dispute comes here. Now, guys, this particular entire treaty was brokered by the World Bank, and if any dispute into the future comes which can't be resolved by the Indus Water Commissioners, then the countries can approach either to the World Bank or to some other body for the resolution of dispute. Now, into the present time, Pakistan has certain concerns because of the ROR project, run of river project, which are being developed by India onto the Chenab River in Jammu and Kashmir. It has been said by the Pakistan that such project will impede the water flow in Pakistan, where India says that the water is not being stored. So how water flow will be impeded? Now, Pakistan has asked the World Bank that this particular matter should be referred to the Court of Arbitration and there it should be dealt. Whereas India believes that it is just a technical issue and could be mutually solvable issue. Therefore, just we can appoint a neutral party and can resolve this entire dispute. There is no need to go to the Court of Arbitration. And on that particular thing, on that particular matter, the meet was to be held, which India insists that should take place in virtual medium. Pakistan says should take place into the physical medium. So that's all about this particular issue, and now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the Afghan peace deal that is going on. Now, into the past, many times we have discussed the entire Afghan peace deal that is being going on, and America is playing a crucial part. Now, the peace deal, which was signed in February 2020, provided that the Afghan government will be releasing nearly 5,000 of the prisoners which have been arrested and they were the Taliban members. And in return, Taliban will agree that they will declare a ceasefire and will not carry the violence into the Afghanistan. Now, government had already released a large number of prisoners, but there were couple hundred of contentious prisoners which were arrested on very serious charges on very high profile attacks. Taliban wanted that those prisoners should also be released if any peace talks between the government and Taliban wanted to take place. Now, earlier there was an apprehension on this particular front that these people will again return to the field and will be carrying the violence. So, guys, this particular matter was taken to the Loya Jirga. Now, Loya Jirga is a traditional legal assembly in Afghanistan where the elders people they decide on some contentious matter. So it is just a kind of a kind of an assembly of the elder people. So Loya Jirga has now said that okay, the 400 contentious prisoners will be released. Now, out of these, 150 prisoners are already facing the death row, but they had said that we will release this prisoner, but government also needs to give an assurance that an eye will be kept on these prisoners, that they are not returning to the battlefield. Now guys, this particular thing has been done so that the peace talks can move forward. And now guys, we need to see on the part of the Taliban that how they endorse their part of deal with respect to the declaration of the ceasefire that they had promised. So guys, that's all about this particular thing. You don't need to go into the nitty gritties that these prisoners are involved into which attack, which year. That is not part of our syllabus. So that's it for here, and now we'll move to the question section. Friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So question number 1 is with respect to the National Green Tribunal. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 2 is with respect to the tribals. So guys, please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 3 is with respect to the Confucius Institutes in India. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 4 is with respect to the One Nation, One Ration Card facility. Please read the statement and identify the incorrect code. And now the main question for today. So question says that into the past few months, India has seen a rapid stride in Atmanirbharta, particularly for defense. Highlight the reforms taken in this particular regard. So guys, this will be a 10 marker question and will be covered into the GS paper number 3. So that's it guys. I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.